Hello, and welcome to episode 78 of the Compassion and Cucumbers podcast. I'm Christine.
And I'm Sam.
How you doing, Sam?
I'm great, Christine. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good.
Sounds awfully formal.
I know. I never call Sam Sam.
No, never.
I usually call her Boo.
Right.
Or Hun. Or
nah, it's usually Boo, and you're Pookie.
Sam's on break.
I am.
Go spring break.
Gotta love spring break.
Yeah, so we donned our bikinis and ran around on the beach, and isn't that what we do?
No, definitely not.
That's a disturbing thought.
It really is, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, so no.
Just to clarify, neither of us own bikinis, and this is a good thing.
My bikini days are over, I'm afraid.
I never had any.
Yeah, so yeah, we're doing good. I hope everybody else is doing good. I hope you're doing good out there. We did some fun stuff over the weekend.
We did. It was a nice weekend.
It was.
Yeah, it was super cool. We started out on Saturday morning. We headed up to Tonawanda to the vegan center because the fabulous folks at Buffalo's V Spot were doing a pop-up vegan breakfast.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we wanted to get in on that.
We sure did. And are we ever glad we did? Once again, Natina and crew basically killed us with comfort food goodness.
So good.
Amazing. Now, we got Natina's breakfast sub.
Yeah.
And what this really was, I don't think sub is a word that does it justice.
Well,
this was really essentially a breakfast Philly cheesesteak elevated. I mean, this had what we can only assume to be a homemade sausage crumble because it was so flavorful.
Yeah, I think she makes all of her own proteins.
Yeah, so good. Beautiful tofu scramble, peppers and onions and potatoes and this incredible cheese sauce. And the whole thing was just amazing from start to finish. And so, like I said, Natina, once again, amazing food. You killed us. You basically killed us.
It was fantastic.
It was.
Yeah. I'll read you her description of the sub/hoagie.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Steak and sausage with tofu scramble, peppers, onions, mushrooms, seasoned potatoes, homemade hoagie sauce, and homemade pepper jack cheese.
Oh, it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
It was absolutely ridiculous.
It was really delicious. And I think it was like a 6-inch hoagie. Mm-hmm. And when it was done, we were both very sad.
We were sad, but at the same time, we were both full.
Oh, yeah. I couldn't have eaten more.
No.
But I was sad it was gone.
Yes. Very glad that they were the size that they were because any more would probably have been too much. Yes. Very sad that they were gone. We wanted them to continue.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So then we poked around a little bit at the consignment shop there at the vegan center.
We did. And I found some really cool vintage beads that I'm going to be working up into some new jewelry pieces, which I'm really excited about.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, that was awesome. And then we jumped back in the car and zoomed over to the vegan grocery store. Quickly.
Yeah, we can't be in Tonawanda and not stop at the vegan grocery store.
No, there would be something just fundamentally wrong about that.
Right.
Yeah. So headed on over to the vegan grocery store to pick up a few things. Not a whole lot because unlike our usual MO when we hit the vegan grocery store, we weren't heading directly home.
Right. Not only that, but we didn't need a ton of groceries.
No.
And it was a good thing we were full because we make that mistake sometimes too. We go to the vegan grocery store before lunch or something, and it's like everything looks delicious, and so we're just like filling our cart.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
So it helped that we were really full from the subs.
Yeah, it did help.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we would have bought quite a bit more if we had been hungry.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But after our trip to the vegan grocery store, we headed to Angola to meet up for the first instance of the Vegan Fiber Crafters meetup.
Yeah, this was fun.
This was so much fun.
Yeah.
Like being a vegan fiber crafter. It's really nice to be in a room of people who are both vegan and crafty.
Yeah.
Like it was really, really very cool. And we had an awesome group of people. Let's see, we had Annette from Food Not Bombs. We had Ray from the Planty Baker. We had Jill of Western New York Veg Fest fame. And we had one of our superstar listeners, Michelle, join us as well. And then it was me and Christine, or Christine and I, on top of that. And we were there at the Angola Public Library in their multi-purpose room from about 1:30 to 3.
Yeah.
And we just had a blast.
Oh my God, we had so much fun. Annette makes her own like vegan cold cuts, like and sausages and cheeses and pepperonis and things like that. So she brought a bunch of snacks, and Ray brought some delicious scones.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Can always count on Ray for amazing scones.
Yeah. And we had so much fun. We were laughing so hard and so loud. I was afraid the library people were going to come and tell us to keep it down.
Yeah, nothing like a bunch of rowdy knitters.
I know. They were probably like, wait a minute. Didn't these people say this was a knitting group? What is going on back there?
Well, the interesting thing, of the knitting group, I was the only knitter.
It's true. Yeah, Ray was
is a crocheter.
Crocheting. And Jill was looming. She brought this cute little loom.
Adorable little loom. And so Jill was looming, and Annette is also a crocheter.
Yeah.
If that's the correct term, one who crochets.
Yeah. And I don't think Michelle does either.
No, she doesn't.
She just came to hang.
Yeah, which was great.
Yeah.
And so I was the only knitter of the bunch. But
yeah, and I tried to remember how to knit, but it wouldn't come back to me right then and there. So I just helped Sam cut fringe for scarves.
She was the official fringe cutter.
Yeah.
Yes. So she saved me some time on the finishing of 3 different scarves. She pre-cut my fringe for me.
I do what I can.
Yeah, it's much appreciated.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we had a blast.
It was a really fun day. And if there's anybody in the area that is also a fiber arts person, a vegan fiber arts person, we're meeting again on April 8th from 1:30 to 3, and that's at the Angola Public Library.
Yeah, and you know what? Even if you're not a fiber crafter, be like Michelle. Come hang out.
Come hang out with us.
Yeah, it was a rocking good time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and let me hang on, because we didn't really talk about Ray's scones, and we have to talk about Ray's scones.
Oh, yeah, go back to the scones.
Okay, so going back to the scones for just a second. Okay, so these were a whole wheat, sweet potato, no oil scone topped with some lovely dark chocolate, pistachios, and there were also raspberries in there. These were insane.
They were really good.
So good. Really rich, not too sweet, perfect texture for a scone. And it was really nice knowing that there was no oil.
Yeah, he makes those for Flourish Cafe, and everything that Flourish makes or serves is
oil-free.
Super healthy.
It's super healthy.
Yeah. Free of all allergens, free of meat and dairy.
Nice.
And free of oils.
Nice.
So,
yeah. So they were super delicious. So if you can, get thyself to Flourish Cafe and pick up some of these scones, because they're really incredible.
They were good.
Yeah. Really incredible.
Yeah. So that was a really fun day.
It was super fun.
Yeah.
And then we came home and got back to work.
Right.
It is. It's funny. It's like as soon as we get in the house now, Christine is on her laptop working on graphics or coming up with the outline for the next podcast. Yep. And I'm knitting or beading or fringing or doing something.
Did a little work on the cookbook.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. So we always have stuff going on.
We do. But it was a great day.
We're busy little bees.
We are.
Anything else you want to say about the weekend that we had, or?
No, I mean, yesterday was pretty mellow.
Yeah, yesterday was a chill Sunday. We worked at the shelter.
We did our shelter shift. Yep. Met some really awesome cats.
Yeah. Cool cats.
Yeah, some really awesome cats. Our new tripod friend, Mayday.
Yeah.
Mayday recently became a tripod, recently had surgery to remove one of his back legs.
Yeah.
And so, he's adjusting to only having 3 legs, and
he's doing
a really great job of it, and he's just an absolute sweetheart. So it was great to just kind of get to know him a little bit. And there was also a tiny little black kitten named Draco that I became quite attached to.
Yeah. I don't know if Draco, at one point there was a cat loose in our medical room, because it's a separate room for cats that either are very ill or like Mayday have had a procedure recently and they need
space.
Special care. But last week there was one loose in the room.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure it was the little black kitten.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I forget the woman's name, who accidentally let him out. She said, well, he's very small and black, so because we couldn't find him.
Right.
And there were 2 traps set out. Oh. And he tripped one of them and wasn't in it. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if that was a couple weeks ago, he was tiny yesterday. So, the
trap
he
was
must
probably
have been
too big
even
for him.
tinier. Yeah.
Yeah. So, good time with all the cool cats there at the shelter. And then I think Sam knitted most of the day, crafted most of the day, and I went back to podcast work and stuff like that.
Yep.
So, that was our weekend. I wanted to give a little bit of, not really an update, but I wanted to add on to what we were talking about last week about the Hershey's and the new Reese's, the vegan Reese's Peanut Butter Cup.
Yep. Go for it.
Food Empowerment Project recently posted it was a great post. It's a picture of the vegan Reese's Peanut Butter Cup. And there's text over it, very large text that says, just because it's vegan doesn't mean it's cruelty free.
Yep.
Which is something to keep in mind. And they made this post, and I thought I would share it. You may have heard that Reese's is coming out with a vegan version of its peanut butter cups, but just because it's vegan doesn't mean it's cruelty free. The heads of Mars, Hershey, and Nestle scaled back their goal to reduce child labor to only by 70% in 2020. And by that year, the amount of child labor had increased. On the Food Empowerment website, they reference a lawsuit made in 2021 that states holding a single large pod in one hand, each child has to strike the pod with a machete to pry it open with the tip of the blade to expose the cocoa beans. Every strike of the machete can potentially slice a child's flesh. Many children have scars on their bodies from the work in the cocoa farms. The world's largest cocoa manufacturers have formed various initiatives to address child labor and slavery in cocoa production, supposedly. But these initiatives have unsurprisingly done little to remove their abuse. So,
yep.
So, I mean, we talked about it, about Hershey's reluctance to have a third party come in and
certify their chocolate.
Well,
and
this is why.
Here's why.
Yeah. I mean, if you have to have a goal to reduce child labor,
that's a big problem.
That's a huge problem. How about just stop using children?
Yeah, but I mean, and I'm not using this as an excuse, but I mean, look where child labor laws are going. There are states now trying to eliminate them.
I know, it's scary.
Or reduce them. And so to reduce the protections for children and allowing children to work at younger ages, like, it's insane.
It is. It's scary. Why are we going backwards in everything, it seems like?
I don't know.
It's crazy.
It is crazy.
Crazy world we're living in.
Absolutely. But so if you're looking for, a fair enough reason to avoid the new vegan Reese's Peanut Butter Cup, there you go. Yeah. Right there.
Yeah.
So we will certainly not be purchasing any peanut butter cups.
Just don't do it.
No, it's not worth it.
It is definitely not worth the life of a child.
No, not even close.
On a lighter note, we have a recipe this week.
Yeah, we do.
We have a new recipe. So here's the From Our Vegan Kitchen recipe of the week. This week, we're talking about something I call our vegan fiesta bowl with a chipotle cashew cheese sauce.
Cool.
And I made a variation on that today. And we're going to have the full recipe out on our Patreon. So if you're interested in getting this recipe, become a patron and you can get the recipe.
And that's at any level of Patreon support.
Yep, any level. So what the vegan fiesta bowl is, really, it's like a taco bowl. Kind of pseudo taco salad, pseudo burrito bowl.
No, it depends on what you put it over.
Yeah.
So for example, the one that we had for dinner today, Christine put over a bed of largely iceberg lettuce.
Yeah.
So it was nice and crunchy.
Today's rendition was a taco bowl.
Yeah, definitely. And then, had some vegetables and some rice and beans and some guacamole and some wonderful tofu. And
I took a stab at trying to recreate Mad Mex's, what they call their Pennsyltucky tofu.
So good.
And I think I'm really close on the sauce.
Yeah, the sauce is really, really close.
Yeah, I'm really close on the sauce. And it's a fried tofu. Mm-hmm. I think I needed to fry it a little bit longer.
Yeah, I think so too, because once you sauced it, it lost the crunchiness that Mad Mex manages to keep.
So it needs a little bit thicker of a crunchy shell.
Yeah, something.
To hold up to the sauce, I think.
Yep. But it was super, super tasty.
Yeah.
And then she just topped it with all kinds of goodness. Like I said, guacamole and some vegan cheddar and her chipotle cashew cheese
sauce. Guacamole
sauce.
And avocado.
Oh yeah, but you know what? There's no such thing as too much avocado. So
avocado overkill.
No such thing. Bring it on.
Yeah, and on mine I put a little bit of vegan sour cream. Sam doesn't usually want sour cream.
No,
so.
I mean it's not that I dislike sour cream. It's just for me kind of an unnecessary addition.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I top it with my chipotle cashew cheese sauce.
Yes, which was absolutely delightful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can get both of those recipes, both the Fiesta Bowl and the cashew cheese sauce. They'll be up on our Patreon if you're interested.
There you go.
Yeah. There ya go. Hey, you want to talk about our noteworthy section?
I really do, because, I was bummed by this piece of information. And that is that every vegan's favorite deli slice brand, Tofurky, has been sold to a Japanese food company.
Yeah.
And I'm so sad about this because Tofurky was one of those companies that were kind of still holding it down as a relatively small, family-based company, even though they'd managed to expand. I mean, you find Tofurky products in just about every grocery store everywhere.
Yeah, pretty much everywhere.
But that they were hanging on to kind of that, small business feel, and that is now gone, which I'm very sorry to report. Although I have to say, doing a little extra research, it turns out that the company that Tofurky has been sold to, Moringa Nutritional Foods, has been Tofurky's tofu supplier.
Yes, they
for
have.
ages. Mm-hmm. So it's just a matter of, in this case, kind of swapping which company is in charge.
Yeah, a little bit.
In a way.
The sad thing about it for me is that Moringa Foods also has a very large dairy.
Yes, Moringa Nutritional Foods is owned by Moringa Milk Industry Company, which is, of course, a primarily dairy-based conglomerate.
It's a Japanese dairy company.
Yes.
So, come on. Come on, Tofurky. Is nothing sacred?
Well, I mean, you can't blame them, really, and we don't know the whole story. We don't know what's going on with everything behind the scenes.
No, I mean, it does seem to me like the Tofurky company was slightly mismanaged given the amount of profit they made and then the amount of losses that they were reporting. That there's definitely some mismanagement going on there. So I don't know. I don't know. It seems like there's so few vegan companies that are kind of holding to their ethics anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, here's the good news. Tofurky did say that they will continue to manufacture at its factory in Hood River, so that's great. They're keeping jobs here.
Yeah.
And this deal also includes a sibling brand called Mucho, Moocho, that will make dairy-free cheese.
Yeah, I haven't seen the Mucho cheese. I don't know if it's available yet or
I haven't seen it either. And so it'll be interesting to see whether it becomes a more readily available through this new arrangement. Now, just to give some of you a little bit of background, Seth Tibbett founded the tempeh-focused Turtle Island Soy Company back in 1980. And that landed in Hood River in 1991, where Tofurky was developed as a vegan and vegetarian-friendly Thanksgiving main course. The brand grew to include deli slices, sausages, and other meat replacement products, and they introduced its Mucho line in 2019.
Yeah.
I have not seen Mucho, but
I don't know if it's maybe just a West Coast thing right now.
It could be, seeing as they're largely based on the West Coast. And Moringa is also, their U.S. headquarters is based in California.
Yeah. Seth Tibbett has a really cool, interesting story.
He does.
Yeah.
I highly recommend you check out his autobiography, actually.
And I don't know, I haven't really taken a deep dive, but did try to find out, when did Seth Tibbett release control of Tofurky Company? Because I don't think that he's running it anymore. I don't think he was even running it before this sale happened. Now, he's not a young guy anymore. He's got a really great story about how he was just, kind of a hippie-ish dude, and he discovered how to make tempeh and started making his own tempeh, and he was selling it to people like that were living near him. He started selling it, and then he decided to turn it into a business, and that's how it blossomed from his homemade tempeh making.
So I'm taking a look at Seth Tibbett's LinkedIn. I can't find anything that states, when or if he has moved away from the management of the company.
Yeah.
But I'm seeing quite a few congratulations to Seth Tibbett, Jamie Athos, and the Tofurky team on the acquisition by Moringa Nutritional Foods.
Oh, okay.
And those comments are liked by Seth Tibbett. So,
okay. So he's still involved.
So definitely still involved. Absolutely. And like I said, if you haven't had a chance yet, do check out his book, In Search of the Wild Tofurky, subtitled How a Business Misfit Pioneered Plant-Based Foods Before They Were Cool. Christine actually got me a copy of this for Christmas last year, and it's a delightful read.
Yeah.
I highly recommend.
Yeah, I heard an interview with him somewhere.
NPR, probably.
I think it was an NPR thing. Yeah, he's just got a really great story.
Yeah, he does. Interesting guy.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just get a little sad when I see that his company has been sold off to a giant Japanese food conglomerate.
Yes, of course. No, I'm with you completely. When we were talking about it, when you first made me aware of it, that you found the article, we were both kind of like, why Tofurky? Why?
I know. Sam's like, that means we can't buy Tofurky anymore. What's left? We're losing everything.
I mean, because we don't buy very many processed foods, but Tofurky is actually a favorite of mine because I do like sandwiches.
Yeah, good sandwich every once in a while.
I love a good sandwich every now and again. And so Tofurky hits the spot when I have that kind of craving.
Yeah.
So, and no, we will, I imagine, continue to buy Tofurky at the rate that we usually do.
I guess so, unless we can find an alternative, which
around here,
probably not going to happen.
Right. Unless someone opens a boutique vegan deli.
We're talking to you, Annette.
There you go. We're talking to you, Annette, or we're talking to the folks at Grass Fed. Maybe you want to open up a Fredonia franchise,
or maybe we could talk Katie, who runs the Upper Crust, into putting in a small
vegan deli.
Yeah, a small vegan deli section, and she could buy from Grass Fed or from Annette.
Ooh, see, now you're thinking.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
It would be cool.
That would be very cool.
Because she makes the breads and everything.
It's true. It's true. And her bread is fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's our noteworthy this week, is that, our dear Tofurky has been sold to to Moringa Foods, based out of Japan. And we're a little sad about that.
Yeah, I'm really sad about that. The hits keep coming. First Miyoko's, now this.
Well, I mean, I feel like this is a slightly different situation than Miyoko's. I mean, it sounds like the folks running the show at Tofurky see this as a good thing.
Well, of course they
do. It doesn't sound like there's, the kind of conflict that is going on in Miyoko's organization.
No, I mean, it's not the same situation at all. But for the consumer, it is the kind of situation that makes you lose confidence in a brand. You know what I mean?
That's fair.
So, I don't know.
That's fair.
I guess it's a good thing we don't eat a lot of processed vegan foods. Yeah. Because it seems like all the processed vegan food companies are all starting to go down a bad capitalistic path.
Well, let's not put that out into the universe that is happening. It's like, there's a lot of stuff going on that we are not aware of. And I hope that, a good amount of it is still like really good and still holding to vegan ethics over, capitalistic gain.
Yeah.
But all we can do is wait and see.
Are you ready to move on to our main topic?
Bring it.
All right, this week our main topic is we're asking the question, can we effectively advocate for veganism using social media? Or are we just preaching to the choir? So I did a little experiment, and I reached out to Chat AI. If you're not familiar with Chat AI, it is an artificial intelligence system that will answer questions for you.
Okay.
And I was a little curious to see what Chat AI would say if I asked it a few questions based on this premise.
Cool experiment.
Yeah. So the first question I asked Chat AI is, are we preaching to the choir when using social media for activism? So I didn't say vegan or anything like that. I kept it very general. And Chat AI came back and said it is possible to preach to the choir when using social. I was wondering, first of all, I'm sorry to interrupt myself, but I was wondering if Chat AI would recognize that phrase, preaching to the choir.
Certainly does.
And it certainly does. It is possible to preach to the choir when using social media for activism, but it is not always the case. While some people who follow activists on social media may already be supportive of the cause, others may be on the fence or may not be aware of the issues being discussed.
Furthermore, social media allows activists to reach a wider audience beyond their immediate social circle, which can include people with different perspectives and beliefs. This means that social media can be a powerful tool for educating and engaging people who may not have been exposed to the cause before. So that's pretty great.
Yeah. It goes on to say another benefit of social media is that it can help to create a sense of community and solidarity among activists and supporters of a particular cause. This can lead to a more unified and cohesive movement, which can ultimately lead to more meaningful change. And in summary, while it is possible to preach to the choir on social media, it is also a powerful tool for reaching a wider audience and creating a sense of community around a cause.
So there you go.
So that's Chat AI's opinion on just general activism and social media. So then I went on to ask it a little more pointed versions of questions. What was the next question I asked?
The next question you asked was, can vegans create change using social media? And Chat AI came back with, yes, absolutely. Social media can be a powerful tool for creating change, and it has already been used by many vegans to spread awareness about animal rights and encourage others to adopt a plant-based lifestyle. Yeah, it goes on to say, vegans can use social media platforms such as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok to share their stories, experiences, and knowledge about veganism. They can also share educational content, such as documentaries, articles, and infographics that explain the benefits of veganism for animals, the environment, and human health. All good things.
Mm-hmm.
Vegans can also use social media to create and share recipes, meal plans, and shopping guides to help others make the transition to a plant-based lifestyle. They can participate in online communities and support groups to connect with other vegans and provide advice and encouragement to those who are considering going vegan. So overall, social media provides vegans with a powerful platform to share their message and advocate for animal rights, and it can be an effective way to create change and inspire others to adopt a more compassionate and sustainable lifestyle.
So Chat AI seems to have a pretty positive attitude about social media, which doesn't surprise me since, social media in itself is kind of an artificial intelligence.
Certainly. I mean, and if you've listened to this podcast at all, you know that I in particular don't have a very good opinion of social media. Mm-hmm. Christine does all of our social media because I just won't touch it. I think it is one of the most de-unifying forces on the face of the planet.
Yeah.
I think though it has potential to do tremendous good, I think in general it probably does more harm than it does good.
Yeah.
And that to me is of great concern. The other thing that bugs me about social media is that it's created an environment where everybody is seeing news and information that is tailored to them.
Right. And I posed a question directly about that.
I know.
Later on.
It's my favorite of your questions.
Yeah.
And so if you don't mind, I'm going to jump right to it because the other two questions that you asked, the answers were very similar. So this is an awesome question that Christine asked, which is, if social media is only serving us messages that align with our own viewpoints, how do we reach those who think differently than us? AI responds, it is true that social media algorithms can create a filter bubble that only shows us messages that align with our viewpoints, making it difficult to reach those who think differently than us. However, there are several strategies that can be effective in reaching a broader audience. 1. Engage with people outside your social circle. Look for opportunities to engage with people outside of your social circle by joining groups or following pages that represent different viewpoints.
Yeah, this is kind of a know thy enemy kind of situation. So I would recommend that vegans go onto social media and seek out farming and animal agriculture groups. Even if you don't want to engage with those groups, you can see what they're talking about.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely. It also recommends the use of targeted advertising. So targeted advertising can be an effective way to reach people who may not be exposed to your message otherwise. By using specific targeting criteria, you can reach people who may be interested in your message but not yet aware of it.
Yeah. What other tools? Number 3. Use nonpartisan sources. Sharing information from nonpartisan sources can help reach a wider audience and build credibility with people who may not share your views.
You can, of course, collaborate with others. Collaborating with individuals or organizations that represent different viewpoints can help to reach a wider audience and create a more diverse and inclusive movement.
Yeah, and then finally it says to be open to dialogue, engage in respectful dialogue with those who have different viewpoints. Yeah, that happens all the time on social media. This can...
now who's dissing social media?
This can help to create a more understanding and compassionate world, even if you don't agree on everything. I always try, even when people say semi-nasty things, I always try to come back with the positive comment.
Well, I mean, I think that's necessary.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no point in being combative.
Yeah. I mean, and then it sums it all up by saying overall reaching those who think differently than us on social media can be challenging, but by using these strategies and staying open-minded, we can create a more inclusive and diverse movement that can lead to positive change.
Certainly hope so.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think that's a decent answer. Again, still seems very positive.
It does.
You know?
It does. And I think it doesn't acknowledge kind of the darker, more combative side of social media. You know, the folks who are out there to cause chaos just for the sake of causing chaos.
Yeah,
and
I think
the folks who decide to be contrary just to be contrary, or who just want to get things started, you know, who will post a YouTube video just for it to go viral, regardless of whether they're saying something they actually believe or not.
Right. It seems like that this chat AI is pretty, the answers that it's giving are pretty whitewashed.
Yeah, they're very pro social media.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So then I asked some more specific questions specific to veganism. So I asked Chat AI, how can vegans change minds using social media? I thought that it was a pretty specific question, and it gave pretty specific answers. There are several ways that vegans can use social media to change minds and promote veganism. Number 1, share personal stories. By sharing personal stories of how veganism has positively impacted their lives, vegans can help to show others that veganism is not just about animal rights, but can also improve health and well-being. Find that answer interesting. Yes, I guess water it down. So it's not about...
Wait.
What?
Wait, well, why are you poo-pooing? Why are you calling this watering it down? We're not talking about animal rights or liberation right now. You asked, how can vegans change minds using social media?
Right, and to promote veganism. And it says to make it all about you.
Well, right.
And not about the animals.
Well, but that's often that's a very strong marketing tactic. in any sense.
No, I understand.
And so, I mean, of course you want to be able to turn it to animals. And, the moment where you realized what you were doing was harming animals. Yes, I think that's important. And that's a big thing. But again, you just have to know that that's not going to be the only reason that people decide to choose veganism. Some will do it for their health. Some will do it for the environment.
Absolutely.
So even though it might not be focusing on the animal liberation or the ethical context all the time, I think the sharing of personal stories is in fact a very effective means of getting people to listen. I mean,
sure, but your personal story can also include animal advocacy.
Yes, of course. I'm not saying it can't. So I'm just wondering why you're kind of dissing this answer.
I guess I just don't like the way it worded it. To help show others that veganism is not just about animal rights. Well, it kind of is.
But if you asked it specifically about animal rights, then it would say that. But
okay, it's just my opinion.
Yeah,
that I find that answer a little. It's leaning too much towards the health thing. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. For my liking. But that's just my opinion. It says number 2, share educational resources. Sharing educational resources such as documentaries, scientific studies, and articles can help provide evidence-based information that can help to change people's minds about the benefits of veganism.
See, now, number 3, I'm not actually crazy about. The third tip is to highlight vegan celebrities. So sharing news and stories about vegan celebrities can help to show that veganism is not just a fringe movement, but is gaining popularity among mainstream culture. Okay, sure, yes, to a certain degree it can do that, but I also think that it pegs veganism as something that is available only to the wealthy.
Yeah, and the famous.
Yeah, the wealthy and the famous, that it's trendy and that's why we should do it. I think it takes away from the fact that veganism is actually a very economical, healthy, responsible choice for the environment that has nothing to do with fame or image or anything like that.
Okay. Yeah.
So I don't love that answer.
Yeah.
Personally.
I don't either.
Okay.
Answer number 4 was share vegan recipes. Sharing delicious vegan. Well, we do that.
Well, we like that.
Sharing delicious vegan recipes can help to dispel the myth that vegan food is bland and unappetizing, and can help to show that veganism is not about deprivation.
Sure isn't.
Yeah.
Nope. Yeah, so we definitely agree with that.
Yeah, we agree with that one. And then the final answer was engage in respectful dialogue. Engaging in respectful dialogue with those who may not share the same views can help to foster understanding and bridge the gap between different perspectives. By using a combination of these tactics and staying respectful, vegans can change minds and promote veganism on social media. So there's some good ideas in there, I think.
Yeah.
I do agree that you should share personal stories. I guess my hackles always get raised when it starts to lean towards the kind of like health food thing situation. You know what I mean?
I understand that completely, but I think it's important. I remember when we first went vegan and we were getting into a conversation about why there was so much drama in the vegan movement over whether you were an ethical vegan or a health-based vegan or whole foods plant-based or you're a junk food vegan, or it seemed like the need to place a label on everything.
Yeah.
And I would say that whether you choose to go vegan for the animals, the planet, or your health, the outcome is the same.
Yeah. Well, okay.
So I wouldn't judge someone, for example, hey, my dad, who is on a vegan journey, but for health reasons, very specifically. I don't consider him to be less than.
No, I don't either. And I'm not trying to say, I'm not saying I judge any of that. I'm just saying veganism is one thing and a plant-based diet is a separate thing. And so after I got those answers, I'm like, okay, I'm not asking the right question.
Okay.
So I asked, how is social media best used to promote animal liberation?
And interestingly, the answers are very, very similar to what we see in your other questions. Share educational resources. collaborate with other activists, share stories, engage in respectful dialogue. So there's not a lot of difference.
Yeah, use powerful images and videos. Share images and videos that show the reality of animal suffering in a way that is powerful but not graphic or disturbing.
Right.
This can help to make people more aware of the impact of their choices and inspire them to make a more compassionate decision. Yeah, I like that. And that reminds me of something that somebody talked about at the summit that we were at last October, when they were talking about using like images of one animal.
Oh, yes.
To appeal to people's emotions.
Yes.
So
that a close-up of one animal will be far more effective than a distant shot of 10,000 animals.
Yeah, that one animal's story
is
much more effective.
Yes, because people will empathize with that one creature. Will be able to develop, even just through a picture, a kind of relationship with that one creature, as opposed to, seeing thousands upon thousands of creatures in, abysmal conditions.
Yeah. It is funny how every answer seems to end with engage in respectful dialogue.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is, isn't that kind of the key to everything, whether we're talking about social media or not?
Yeah. Even artificial intelligence knows. Just be respectful to each other.
Is important. Exactly. Yes. I think a lot of the problems in our society now stem from people who have this incredible need to be right. And not only to be right, but to make other people believe they are right.
Yeah.
And to make other people think in the same way that they do. And I don't want to be part of that. I'm happy to say that I think that veganism is the right choice for the animals, for the planet, and for health. And it's certainly the right choice for me. But I don't have the right to force anybody else into that, to guilt anybody else into that, or to judge anybody else for not making that choice.
No.
Because I didn't make that choice for a large part of my life.
Right.
Yeah. So I think if we could get past the need to be right and have respectful dialogue about any of the myriad issues facing the world, and there are many.
Yeah.
Maybe we'd get a little closer to finding some solutions. Yeah.
So do you think we answered the question, can we effectively advocate for veganism using social media?
I think we did.
And what do you think the answer is?
I think the answer is yes, but.
Yes, but.
Yeah. You know how in acting they say it's always yes and?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's yes, but. I think there is a downside.
Yeah.
To it.
I think you have to be really methodical about it, especially reaching out to people on the other side.
Sure.
Because the way the algorithm works, we are constantly just being fed stuff that aligns with our viewpoint.
That's right.
So you're not even going to see how the other side thinks or reacts.
Unless you go looking for it.
Yeah, or unless somebody posts usually trolly stuff on a vegan's content. But maybe if you reach out to the opposite side of your viewpoint and see exactly what they're talking about and engage in respectful conversation there, not trolly, don't be like looking for people. I don't know. Don't go to Meat Eaters or Us or something like that. And then start posting, well, maybe if you stopped eating meat,
Yeah.
But you can see
need to poke the dragon.
No, but see what they're talking about, see what their viewpoints are, and maybe engage in good conversation with some of those people. And I don't know, maybe you can change some minds.
I like to think it's a possibility.
Yeah, it's worth a try.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I am going to try and join some groups or something. I don't even know what groups to join.
Yeah, I don't know. I will not be joining any groups.
Sam doesn't do any social media. So,
I do not.
So this experiment is all on me.
It is. So. Yeah, this one's all you.
Yeah.
No, the last group I joined was the vegan fiber arts people in Angola. But you see, that's a in-person group. I like those. In-person groups are good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, like Sam said, I think we can effectively advocate for animals on social media, but it takes some thought and strategy
for sure
to get it done.
And I will once again, I know I do this often, but I will once again thank you for taking care of all of our social media, because I know it's one part of this whole gig that I could not do.
Yeah, Sam really doesn't like social media.
I really, really don't.
Yeah.
And I would not be able to use it effectively. So I'm very glad that you do that for us.
Oh, well, you're welcome.
I'll just keep knitting.
Do you have anything else to say about veganism and social media?
I don't. Other than I will say that, since we started the podcast and since you became very active on social media on behalf of the podcast, we have met a lot of really cool vegans in our area through social media.
That's true. We have.
Which is great. So big thumbs up for that upside.
Yeah. Social media is great for finding community.
Yes.
I will give it that. And I suppose, like it says in some of its answers, that is one of the benefits, that you can find community and build strong relationships with other people that are like-minded and have the same goals in mind as far as animal liberation and all that goes. And so in that way, it does strengthen our numbers. So I'll give it that much. And I guess that's all I will say about that.
You sounded like Forrest Gump just there.
And that's all I'll say about that. So what is our reason to be vegan this week? Reasons to be vegan!
The reason to be vegan that I chose this week from Gene Stone and Kathy Freston's excellent book, 72 Reasons to be Vegan, Why Plant-Based, Why Now, is reason number 34, which is laughing gas is not so funny.
Please explain.
I will. So, nitrous oxide, commonly known as laughing gas, is great in small doses if you're waiting for your dentist to remove your tooth. And I will second that. That is absolutely true. I had a number of dental issues when I was a child, and I always appreciated that my dentist, who was also my father, gave me laughing gas. It was great.
I don't like the gas.
Okay. But on the opposing side of this, nitrous oxide is about 300 times more potent a greenhouse gas than carbon dioxide.
No kidding. So dentists are causing greenhouse gases.
That's it. Yes. Dentists, and solely dentists.
Y'all
didn't like dentists before. Now you like them even less.
Wait till I talk to Larry.
Right? Okay. So it's best we prevent this dangerous gas from leaking into the atmosphere, right? According to the United Nations, the meat, egg, and dairy industries account for 65% of worldwide nitrous oxide.
What do they... Oh, I don't want to know what they use it for.
That's because livestock feed typically requires large applications of nitrogen-based fertilizer, which turns into nitrous oxide in the ground. It is also released into the air during the storage and treatment of livestock manure. Not a laughing matter.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew about the nitrogen and all that. I had no idea that when it released in a gašious form,
it became nitrous oxide.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what happens. And so, it is not the fault of dentists. Let us, relieve the dentists of responsibility here.
Yeah.
So, even if the dentists are responsible for the other 35% of nitrous oxide
which
emissions.
Somehow I doubt.
Which I really do doubt. I'm going to have to find that out. How much nitrous oxide emissions are the world's dentists responsible for?
Yeah. Well, I don't think there are any emissions, because when they're releasing it, somebody else is breathing it in. So,
well, but there's got to be something. I just think I think that's great. I need to find that out just for trivia purposes.
Yeah,
I think that's kind of awesome. But yeah, so nitrous oxide 300 times more powerful as a greenhouse gas than carbon dioxide, and 65% of it comes from the animal agriculture industry.
Wow, we learned something new today.
Yeah, we did.
I didn't know that at all.
Okay, so with that taken care of, let's go ahead and do this week's listener shout out.
Just want to give a shout out to all my fans watching. I love you guys. I love you.
Okay, so this week's listener shout out goes out to Paige Miller.
Woohoo!
Hey, Paige.
We met Paige at the Western New York Veg Fest in 2022. He is a new vegan who reached out to us after Veg Fest, and he has donated to our Mockingbird Farms fundraiser twice. He also sent us along this great email. Today, I listened to your episode on vegan shopping. I think it was episode 3, while I was driving on a long trip. There was so much good stuff in there. When I get home, I will have to listen again and take detailed notes. I just tried for the first time going totally vegan for 2 weeks, and I found I could do it, although my stomach seemed unhappy. Then you mentioned tempeh. I haven't tried that yet, so I will have to do that. You mentioned a huge variety of cheeses at Whole Foods. I've never shopped there, but I will make my first trip soon. You mentioned vegan choices at Trader Joe's. I have been there once, tried their vegan salad dressings, which were atrocious, and I haven't been back, but I will give them another try. Thanks for the great podcast. On a technical podcast production note, thank you for speaking loud enough for me to hear what you're saying over the road noise. I even had to turn down the volume on my car speakers. Many other podcasts, I have to turn the speakers to max volume, and even then, sometimes I have trouble hearing over the road noise. Well, you know what, Paige? We're really, really glad that you can hear us, and we promise that, we'll keep our voices up.
Yeah, and I'm glad Paige mentioned, well, it's a great email. I like everything that he had to say. I hope that his vegan journey is still continuing. I'm sorry to hear that he didn't like the Trader Joe's dressings, because we like a couple of them.
Yeah, there are some that are really great.
Yeah, I don't know which ones he tried. He didn't say. But on the technical note that he talked about, I, too, listen to a lot of podcasts, and when I was commuting, in particular, there were quite a few, even big name podcasts that no matter how, even if I turned my stereo in my car all the way up, sometimes I couldn't hear what they were saying over the road noise. So we made a conscious effort to make sure that our volume was loud enough so that
we could be heard during your commute.
Yeah. I mean, nobody's ever accused me of not being loud enough. That's for sure.
Yeah. There's no question about that.
Sam will vouch for that.
Yes. I will gladly vouch for that.
But no, that is definitely something that we purposefully made sure that our volume is decent.
Yes.
Because people are listening in their cars, or when they're working in the kitchen or doing dishes or something. And even when you have headphones in, you want to make sure that there's enough volume there that people aren't missing what you're saying.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much.
Yes, Paige. Thank you.
And send us your, either email us or DM us. I haven't seen you on social media. So email us at compassionandcucumbers@gmail.com and email us your t-shirt size and your address, and we will get you a swag bag.
Nice. Gotta love it. All right, then. Moving on to housekeeping.
Yep, it's housekeeping time.
Housekeeping time.
We're still running our Food Not Bombs fundraiser at our Buy Me a Coffee. That's at buymeacoffee.com/cucumbers. Food Not Bombs, and we're raising money for the Buffalo chapter, is a wonderful organization that provides vegan meals for vegans that are having food insecurities.
Yes, and we love them, so please give if you can.
Yeah.
We'd love to hear from you, so email or DM us show ideas, cookbook recommendations, recipes you love, or subjects that you'd like us to touch on in future episodes.
Yes, and subscribe to our YouTube. I'm working on some cooking videos that I'm going to be putting out shortly. So, yeah, so definitely check out our YouTube and subscribe and hit the bell so that you're notified when we post new videos. We have every episode of the podcast up there. I have, recently put out a unboxing of our Vegan Cut snack box. I have a couple other things on there. I have a vegan Trader Joe's. I have a test of the Miyoko's liquid mozzarella up there, a couple of shopping videos up there, grocery shopping hauls. So yeah, check out our YouTube and make sure you subscribe.
There you go. If you're interested, you can also join our Patreon. As you heard earlier in this episode, we will be putting some of our own recipes up on Patreon for our patrons, along with some fun behind-the-scenes videos. The link is always in the show notes if you want to join the community there, and the bonus content will be available at any level of support.
That's correct. Leave us a review on your podcast app if your podcast app allows you to leave a review. If it does not allow you to leave a review, please rate us. And there sometimes is a certain method of rating where they have...
Here we go again.
Like a star type thing. If you have something like that on your podcast app, please give us the highest number of stars that they allow, which is usually 5.
I'm wondering how many weeks this is going to go on. I really am. And I'm wondering if right now, as he said he could, Ray can hear my face. I thought that was just the best feedback we got on the podcast, was that Ray can hear my face.
Yes, he can hear your face. Mainly meaning when I say something stupid, he can hear Sam's eyes rolling.
I thought that was pretty great, though. So thank you, Ray, for that commentary. It was much appreciated.
Yeah.
Let's see. Also, go ahead and share the show and our social media with friends or family members that you think would enjoy what we do. It's the easiest way to support us and any content creator, and it costs you nothing at all.
And finally, join the AFA Vegan Voter Hub and give to them if you can. The AFA is the Agriculture Fairness Alliance, and they are currently in Washington lobbying politicians for the upcoming Farm Bill so that vegan voices can be heard. So join the Vegan Voter Hub today.
That's right. Do it.
Do it. Do it. Or we're coming after you. Ray, can you hear Sam's face now? Oh no, I got a case of the sillies.
Okay, well, that tells me that we should wrap it up. So, everybody, thank you for listening to episode 78 of the Compassion and Cucumbers podcast. We hope you have a great week. Christine just can't stop laughing, so I'm going to say good night.
We love you all, and thank you again for listening. Bye-bye.
The end.
Do you want to support the Compassion and Cucumbers podcast? Well, you can do that by joining our Patreon page. We have 3 different levels of support, and all 3 come with their own special bonuses. Hey, you can support the podcast and get yourself some really cool merch. All the links and deets are in the show notes. We'll catch you next week on the next episode of Compassion and Cucumbers.